Hi there, my name's Oisin Lunny and welcome to the Next.io Spotlight, where we have a look at some amazing new technologies, meet some amazing people and generally give you a whole lot of value for the 20 minutes you're about to invest. Now, I help great people, companies and organizations tell their best stories through podcasts, through events and through digital experiences like this one right now. And I'm delighted that we're going to be shining the powerful Next.io Spotlight today on the whole world of esports. And it's an incredibly new and exciting and fast moving sector. And we have a real expert here to fill you in on all of the details, all of the opportunities and the latest technology. Welcome to to the Next IO Spotlight, Adam Day, the Senior Commercial Director at Bayes Esports.
Hi, Oisin. Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Great to have you here, Adam. Thank you so much for joining us. And I am really getting ready to, learn a lot about my gaps in the gaps in my knowledge about esports. Anyway, so let's get the table stakes on the table where they belong to get things started. Just in case people are not fully aware, how would you go about explaining esports to a complete newbie?
Which I probably was 6 months ago. For me, at its heart, it's professional competitive gaming. So I'm a big sports lover, even though I didn't come with an esports background. And for me, it's really not that different to traditional sports in terms of the energy that it creates for people, the passion that people have for their teams, the way that fans are following their players, the statistics that they want to be following, and even to the level of sort of the professionalism around it. There's a proper setup and structure around esports. Players are professional. They earn a living from competitive gaming. There's coaches, there's physiotherapists, there's nutritionists, everything that you would associate with high-end, top, world-class competitive sport. And so the focus, the commitment, the preparation that needs to go into being at your very best. My early experiences were probably the first couple of weeks at Bayes Esports, where I went to the IEM event in Cologne. So it's a huge Counter-Strike tournament. That was my first opportunity to actually feel what it's like to be in an esports arena. And the stadium, the crowd, people making signs, people chanting. It was like being at a Premier League match, a football or soccer match when I lived in London. So it's incredible. And then the actual esports market itself, there's about 320 something million people that are expected to be occasional viewers of esports by 2025. And the entire value of the industry is $1.6 billion. So it's a pretty incredible space to be when you think about it. And we definitely see, in terms of the next generation and the continued growth, you've got people now, there's a whole generation of players who themselves become fans, who themselves become viewers. And so over the trajectory of the next 5, 10, 20 years, we don't see the growth slowing down at all.
Incredible. Those are some
Yeah.
huge numbers, mind blowing. To paraphrase the great Ron Burgundy, it is kind of a big deal. But talk to us about the opportunity in terms of gambling and iGaming, and why should the good people from the Next.io community be very excited about esports?
Yeah, for sure. Great question. The Next.io community, I think, should be really excited about esports. We're seeing incredible demand for really engaging and exciting betting options on esports. The reporting that we see from our customers shows us the growth that they are seeing in turnover, in revenues, and particularly growing margins on the top esport titles such as Counter-Strike 2. And again, that projected revenue from an esports betting market is expected to reach $2.5 billion US by the end of this year, just the betting revenue on esports specifically. And as we said, there's a whole new generation of esports enthusiasts who want to be able to engage with some betting on both traditional sports and esports. So for any sports book around the world, building out and having a capability for a really interesting, exciting esports product is going to be really important for them from a customer retention and a loyalty and a longevity perspective. So we are seeing, our customers are seeing esports as a really strategic investment for the future.
Incredible. This is such a huge opportunity. It's important for people to embrace it, but also to do it right. You really want to be on the right
Mhm.
side of all of this. Talk to us a bit about why data integrity is a very important issue if you're thinking about getting involved in esports.
Yeah, it's an enormous issue, and it's also partly because of the fact that there is just so much vast data that is generated from these tournaments. If you think about the data that might come from a traditional sporting match where the rules don't change all that often versus a game like Dota 2, it's incredible just to think about how you actually navigate and comprehend all of that data. So using official data is incredibly important. Those that are using unofficial data or scrape data for sure can result in delays, lower quality data, less reliable data, can impact the fan experience as well as betting margins. But it also opens up the door for integrity concerns such as match fixing, which is something that we want to keep a really close eye on as well. And then arguably most importantly, it bypasses the IP owners, so the people that are actually owning the data that is generated from these tournaments. And even just in terms of lost revenue on the basis of that unofficial data, it's 2-digit millions is the anticipated lost revenue across esport industry because of data scraping. And if that means that the right holders are missing the opportunity to be monetizing their data, their content that they own the rights to, that revenue is typically reinvested back into the esports ecosystem, whether that's more tournaments, a better quality experience for fans, or more game titles being released. But it's revenue that goes back into the esports community. And from a longer term sustainability perspective, we see as much importance on that avenue as well in terms of why we are so focused on data integrity, official match data.
Indeed. And, rights holders, just going on personal experience from the music industry, there was that Napster moment back in the day, and rights holders can respond very forcefully if their IP has been scraped and abused, and opening up the industry to disrepute and all this kind of stuff. So, do you think this is a similar Napster-ish moment where there's two forks in the road? One is to do things properly to build a sustainable industry, and the other one is, everyone could end up in a whole world of trouble, basically.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I'm not sure if it's a Napster moment, but maybe that's
Yeah.
because there's perhaps just less visible to the broader population as well with what's happening in esports, but it is growing. I think though that there's a lot more that we could all do to continue to educate the market on the value of using official esports data. And look, if a sports book is serious about esports, they see that strategic importance, they want to offer a compelling product, a best of breed product for their esports offering, then they'll want to work with us. Yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
want to build the best product that they possibly can. And as I mentioned, esports is really complex. The data is vast and it's messy. And if you want that top product, you have to be working with the right partners, have the right integrations in place. And that does mean working with the likes of a Bayes who have the official rights to a lot of that content. I mentioned the lost revenue opportunity for some of the IP owners, and that's where some of the Napster comparison comes from. But yeah, there's more to do to ensure that those rights owners are properly compensated for those that are making money off that data, but perhaps bypassing the rights of those content rights owners. And to my earlier point, that's where we do risk damaging, I think, the longer term sustainability of esports as a whole. And we, as Bayes, see ourselves at the forefront of doing as much as we can to advocate for the use of official data, where the money flows back to the rights owners, it goes back into the esports ecosystem. But as I said, there's still a long way to go on that front.
Yeah, it is. It does feel like, a new frontier, and, people have the option to do it a way that's unsustainable, that could just, they could find the rug pulled out of them in terms of APIs, in terms of patches, in terms of updates to the games and the data, or there's a right way of doing things, which is building an actually sustainable business for them, for their customers, for the rights holders. And it seems pretty obvious to me, where people should be on this spectrum of making that right choice. But speaking of which, you mentioned a bit the world of Bayes and the kind of work you're doing. What would be the elevator pitch again around what it is exactly that you do? How can you open this world up to the folks who are tuning in today?
Yeah, and again, for the Next.io community, I think we don't take this responsibility lightly, but we see ourselves very much at the center, at the very heart of the esports data ecosystem, given that we are the leading provider of official esports data. So we work with tournament organizers and game publishers to acquire the official rights to all of that data that is generated from the events. So think again, Counter-Strike 2 or Dota 2 as the prime examples. And then we then distribute that data to many companies, including betting operators, so large sports books, B2B providers who might create and sell odds products to other sports books. And then on top of distributing that data, we also build out and have built out a broad product portfolio that's built on that official data. So things like probabilities, that our data scientist teams use the live data to generate predictions and probabilities. That can be used in broadcasting, can be used on websites, can be used to fuel and inform an odds trading team. We also have an odds feed ourselves, which is built in-house as well as through a group of partners, which effectively becomes a marketplace for sportsbooks to be able to access a whole range of different odds providers off the back of our official live data, but through a single integration with Bayes. And we're really excited as well about some of the visualization tools that sit on top of those products as well. So things like video streams, like widgets and scoreboards that give our customers and sportsbooks and the end betting customer even more engagement options. What's going to keep them more engaged? What's going to keep them on a website for longer? So ultimately we have the content, the official data rights, and the partnerships for the most relevant, most betting relevant esports content. We've built a market-leading tech stack and a partnership ecosystem so we can reach customers with that data. And we have a broad product portfolio across the sportsbook stack that are bringing value to customers across the globe.
Wow, tick, tick, tick. From my perspective, absolutely brilliant. Congratulations. Bayes is really in a great place. But talk to us a bit. I'm just curious personally about, what your role is there as senior commercial director. Can you tell us a bit about the kind of companies or people that you're working with and what you do on a kind of monthly basis?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Bayes, I'm responsible for the commercial function. So for us, that's sales and revenue, customer experience, our go-to-market strategy. And then I'm not directly responsible for partnerships, but work very, very closely with our partnerships team and partnerships director, because obviously what informs what we need to go and procure in terms of content very much comes from the demand we see from our customers as well. So really important that we're at lockstep with our partnerships team. We're acquiring the most lucrative content that we can then provide to our customers. But our ambition this year as well, if I think about my team and my team's role, we've got a really, really exciting ambition ahead for this year. And yeah, there's a bunch of new customers. And think again, from a betting perspective, the biggest sports books on the planet, some of the biggest B2B operators that are generating odds. Those are the sorts of companies that we're working with. And then there's a vast sort of other group of sportsbooks all over the world who might not be as recognized global brands, but might be really strong in a particular market or one particular country. And we serve all of those types of customers, but we've got some really exciting new customer deals we're going to be announcing soon that really kick off 24 with a lot of momentum, but also as important, new content partnerships and new distribution partners. And it's mine and my team's role within Bayes to go and actually execute on those, bring those to life and deliver those to our customers. So we're excited about that for the year ahead.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I'm going to come back to that question if you don't mind. I mean, I think
Of
there's
course.
a lot of exciting stuff on the table for 2024. But before we go there, could you give us a few of the highlights of 2023 for Bayes? Because I believe it was a phenomenal year for you guys.
Yeah, and apologies, I jumped ahead, but maybe that's looking back at
I know, it
2023,
sets the scene perfectly.
explains the trajectory we're on. Yeah, look, if I think about it again from a content partnerships product kind of lens, so we secured and extended multi-year strategic partnerships with two of our most premium partners, and that's Blast Premier and ESL FACEIT Group, or EFG. And those are the two that have a really big majority of Counter-Strike 2 and Dota 2 tournaments around the world. So that's what anchors our strategic leadership position in both of those titles within esports. But we added to that other tournament organizers and have a really expanded content portfolio that includes other organizers like Relog and Sky Esports, which has really solidified our position now heading into this year as covering the majority of premium esports content, CS2, Dota 2. One aspect of content is acquiring the official rights. The other is then on how you actually create a distribution network to serve customers. And so through last year, we also secured some really important deals with some of our biggest B2B partners that help us serve even more customers across the ecosystem. And then on the product side, we're continuing to focus on how we can serve customers at all parts of the value chain. So not just the maybe biggest customers with their in-house trading teams and data scientists who make use of the live data we provide, but how do we provide value to customers at all parts of a journey of a sports book, whether that's just starting out and offering esports for the first time or building towards having their own trading teams and data scientists, for example. So, us launching a probabilities product was a really exciting part of that. Our business 6 years ago or so was built on the data science team that we had. So we've got a real pedigree in the probabilities and predictions we generate from live data, and we sell that, we serve that to our customers. And then the odds products we can offer to sportsbooks who aren't doing their own trading. That's where I mentioned the Bayes Marketplace a little bit earlier, the single integration with multiple partners that provide odds coming in through our distribution network is really exciting. And we launched the visualization tools that I mentioned, scoreboards, widgets, video streams. And those are all about helping our customers ultimately provide a more engaging product and generate even more revenue. So they've been really exciting as well. And ultimately, we ended the year with 50% or thereabouts year-on-year growth and a clear path this year now to profitability as well for an early stage tech company. That's really exciting for us too.
Phenomenal. My goodness, congratulations. I mean, that is a knockout year for 2023, and you teased a few of the things that are coming up in the year ahead. So I'll invite you to take out your Bayes Esports crystal ball and talk to our good community about the kind of things they can expect from Bayes Esports in 2024.
I think you're going to see a lot of energy, excitement, and enthusiasm from anybody across the Bayes team, including at Ice London next week when we'll be there to talk a bit more about what we did last year and what we're hoping to do for our customers this year. But we fully expect another year of similar sort of growth, 50% upwards year-on-year revenue growth. We're excited that we're going to do more than we did last year. It really should be the biggest year in 2024 in Bayes' history. The partnerships that we've solidified are focused on the most premium, profitable esports content that is in the market, CS2 and Dota 2. So having more of that, which we are securing, I think we've got about 10 active negotiations at different stages, including a couple about to close, which will see us bring more tournament organizers on board onto our network. More content of CS2 and Dota 2 makes us even more attractive to customers. But on top of that, we're also seeing growing demands around other titles like Rocket League, Rainbow Six, e-leagues like FIFA and NBA 2K. And so we'll continue to invest in other types of content where it makes sense. And again, our product development does give us the chance to serve even more customers wherever they are on that journey, as I mentioned. So yeah, we're really excited about some of our newer product innovations as well on the video front in particular, which we'll be able to talk about in coming months. But there's some really exciting sort of AI video sort of technology that we're working with. And just generally, though, we see such a growth opportunity across so many different markets. The continued push for on the integrity front, so converting more and more sportsbooks around the world to official live data, and monetizing all this new content that we're bringing on board. We've looked at new customer segments where we've broken through in terms of serving the fantasy community, as an example. And we're looking to do a lot more with a regional focus. So the fantasy is a good example where it's really big in North America. In India, there's a few really big operators there that we're talking to. And we're seeing growing demand in other regions like LATAM, for example, and even parts of Africa, parts of Asia, which complement for us the ongoing success we've seen out of the European region. So yeah, it's a pretty busy, exciting outlook, I think, ahead for us this year.
For sure. My goodness, your last sentence might be a little bit of an understatement there. I think, the future is so bright for esports. And, like you say, it's such a big opportunity. It's important for people to do it the right way. So, which leads me on to my final question for you now, Adam. How can people get in touch with you if they want to find out more, if they want to work with you? Where would you point them?
Absolutely. Of course, LinkedIn. Welcome to connect with me. Our website is bayesesports.com, where there's a whole bunch of rich information and customer testimonials and a good overview of the types of customers that we serve and the products, of course. And then in person, we're pretty active on the event front where we can be at Ice London at the Excel Arena with a whole bunch of our sales team, commercial leadership and product. We'll be doing some live demos of our solutions there as well. And then straight after Ice London is the IEM, the Intel Extreme Masters, a huge Counter-Strike tournament in Katowice in Poland. So our teams are going straight from London to Katowice. So if customers or people there want to come and chat to us at either of those events, you of course can do that as well. We'll be excited to chat to you.
Phenomenal. Okay, the future's bright. The future's esports. Thank you so much for joining us, Adam Day.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Viewers, don't forget to spread the word, comment, share, like, etc. And above all, reach out to Adam and the team at Bayes Esports if you want to work with them, which I'm sure you do. My name's Oisín Lunny. Thank you so much for joining us on the Next.io Spotlight, and we will see you next time.